Have you ever just stood somewhere and felt like the place itself, the mountains, the coast, even the city streets, was kind of seeping into your soul, shaping who you are? What if I told you there's an ancient system that actually mapped that exact connection?
So let's really dig into this question for a second. Are our personalities, our cultures, our deepest feelings, are they just random things that happen inside our own heads, or are they maybe a reflection of the land, the air, and the water all around us? Well, believe it or not, over 2,000 years ago, thinkers in the ancient Tamil civilization had a pretty profound answer. They called it Tinai. And it's so much more than just a way to classify land. It's a whole framework for understanding life itself. The idea is that everything, from who we fall in love with to the jobs we do, is directly tied to our environment.
Now, to really get this, reading about it isn't enough. We need to feel it. So let's go on a little journey through the 5 core landscapes of Tinai. Each one has its own, totally unique emotional vibe. Okay, first up, we're heading to Kurinji, the mountains. Just picture it. Misty peaks all around you, the sound of waterfalls in the distance, the smell of rare flowers. This landscape isn't just a bunch of rocks and air. It's seen as the natural stage for the passionate, secret meeting of lovers.
And here you can see exactly how the system works. The landscape itself, the mountains, the mist, it inspires that core emotion of union. And that, in turn, shapes a whole way of life. People become hunters and honey gatherers. They're surrounded by bamboo and elephants and these incredible Kurinji flowers. See, it's a perfectly connected ecological and emotional system. All right, from those dramatic peaks, we're heading down into the quiet patience of Mullai, the forest. The whole mood just shifts. Here, it's all about dense trees and peaceful meadows, and that evokes this feeling of calm, steady waiting. Like a wife waiting patiently for her husband to return home. And we see the same blueprint here. This serene landscape, full of jasmine and deer, it naturally leads to a culture built around raising cattle, a pastoral life. So the main emotion isn't some sudden, passionate union. It's patient endurance. The environment literally dictates the feeling. Our next stop brings us to the flat, fertile plains of Marutham. This is the land of agriculture, of stability, of putting down roots. But, with that kind of stability comes, well, complexity. And that makes Marutham the landscape of domestic conflict, even infidelity. Think about it. The predictability of these river plains, which are perfect for farming with mango trees and water buffaloes, creates a whole different kind of social tension. Life is less about just surviving day to day and way more about these internal social dramas. It gives rise to a completely different emotional world. Now, you can almost smell the salt in the air. We've made it to Neithal, the coast. The huge, endless ocean and the rhythm of the tides create this powerful feeling of separation and longing, as the community watches their loved ones head out into the deep blue sea. Life here is all about the ocean. The jobs are fishing and making salt. The sounds are seagulls. The dangers are sharks. It all reinforces that emotional state of waiting and sorrow. The entire culture is just shaped by this constant cycle of departure and the hope of return. And finally, we arrive at Palai, the arid wasteland. Now, what's really important to know is that this isn't a permanent place. It's what happens to the other landscapes during a really harsh drought. It is the land of pure hardship, where people are torn apart by circumstances, and just staying alive is the only thing that matters. Yeah, Palai is all about the struggle for life itself. The harsh, dry land with its cactus and wolves can push people to do desperate things, like plundering, just to survive. This really shows that inside the Tinai framework, even the toughest human experiences have their own corresponding landscape. Okay, so how does this all fit together so perfectly? It seems almost magical, but there's a really elegant 3-layered structure that makes Tinai such a powerful concept. Let's pull back the curtain. It really works like this. It's a simple progression. First, you've got the foundation, mutoporal. That's just the basic land and the time, like the season or the time of day. On top of that foundation, you have Kuruporal. This is all the native life, the plants, the animals, the jobs people do. And then, growing out of those first 2 layers, you get the third, Uriporal. This is the specific human emotion that defines the whole place. It just flows, right? From the physical world straight to our inner experience. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This is really beautiful poetry, but is it anything more than that? And the answer is absolutely.
Let's see how this ancient wisdom connects directly to our modern world.
Check this out. On the left, you have Tinai, this ancient system that combines landscape, life, and culture into one thing. And on the right, the modern scientific concept of a biome. It's literally the same idea. Thousands of years before we even had the word for it, these ancient poets were describing how distinct ecological zones create distinct forms of life. Pretty amazing, right?
And get this, there's hard evidence. Archaeology actually proves that Tinai was a reflection of real life. Excavations have dug up stone tools for hunting in the mountain regions of Kurinji, and they found iron sickles for farming right where you'd expect them, in the plains of Marutham. So the poetry was completely grounded in how people actually lived. This idea is so powerful that it's actually being updated for today's world. A scholar named Dr. Nirmal Selvamoni came up with something called Neo-Tinai poetics. It's a way to use this framework to critique our relationship with the environment. It gets rid of that human-centered way of thinking and lets us ask, is our society in harmony with nature? Is it trying to dominate it? Or are we just causing complete chaos?
So, why does this ancient system feel more relevant now than ever before? Well, because it's not some dusty old idea sitting in a book. It's a living legacy, and it's actively shaping our world right now. I mean, look no further than the coastal communities in the Neithal landscape. They are still living by these principles. The sea is worshipped as Kadalama, or Mother Sea. And their folk songs? They're not just songs. They're basically data, encoding crucial knowledge about when fish breed. Their seasonal fishing bans are a traditional form of conservation that modern science is only now starting to appreciate. This is Tinai as a living, sustainable practice.
And its influence just keeps spreading. Today, you've got eco-poets using Tinai to talk about climate anxiety. You have writers using it as a map to explore social issues. It's showing up on digital platforms and in film festivals, proving that this 2,000-year-old idea has a super important role to play in our modern conversation about the planet.
And that leaves us with one last thought. This system, Tinai, it's not just some ancient curiosity. It's a lens that you and I can use. So take a look around you. Your city, your town, your neighborhood. What are its core parts? What feelings do they create in you? What is the Tinai of your world?